Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for everyone who tuned in on the previous episode. And today's episode, I was taking down some notes on my phone. Today's episode, I want to take you through the journey. First, I'll do an introduction as to what Hacho is all about, what is the focus that we have, and secondly, how did this come about? And was it a spontaneous decision or was it a long-term, rather a long, slow cooking plan? So first of all, Hacho is all about chicken rearing, specifically layers. And layers, we are using improved kienyeji. So all this I will break down in later episodes as to what are different types of breeds and so on. Then the second part, was this a spontaneous decision? Yes or no? It was definitely a spontaneous decision. So I was looking through the daily papers and I realized there is a very, very huge shortage or rather supply gap in Kenya, specifically around three things: milk, fish, and eggs. So I'll begin with milk. If you've been looking through YouTube lately, specifically around farming, agriculture, dairy farming, in that matter, you'll see it's quite rising. There are very, very many young millionaires out there who have gotten all this money, all this wealth, starting with maybe one or two cows and planning properly around them. And they've been able to grow a herd as strong as maybe 100 cows that are milked daily, with each cow maybe giving you upwards of 30 liters. And with the average, say, liter to your supplier, or rather to the factory for it to be processed, being around 35 to 45 shillings, definitely you see how that number quickly adds up. Second part, fish farming. If you've been following what the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries has been doing, they have been training very, very many farmers, particularly on the arid and semi-arid areas, to slowly switch from traditional crop farming to fish farming. This is because the weather is now becoming very, very unpredictable. And because of that, to continue helping its citizens generate income and also food for their own families, they have been training farmers to keep fish, so rather than relying on the traditional areas, say like the lake regions or the coastal regions, to get their supply of fish, they are now keeping more and more ponds closer to the consumer. Then that, eggs. Eggs are in almost everything we eat. You could eat an egg directly as it is, in that you boil it, you fry it, however you want to cook it, as a simple egg. Or you will use it in a recipe for many, many pastries, for many cakes, cookies, and so on. And what that tells you, if you take, say, for example, milk and eggs in the bread industry, this is a huge, huge space. Now, the second part that brought me to this decision to decide to do egg farming. When you look at the egg demand in Kenya at the moment, we are sitting at almost 9 billion egg demand. And if you want to cross-check these facts, please feel free. Any fact that you may feel is inaccurate, I'd love your feedback on the comment section. Secondly, the production. The production capacity in Kenya as of today is estimated to be about 4 billion eggs, right? I'm not sure on the period that we're referring to here, but overall you're looking at around 56% deficit. So you may wonder, if there is such a huge deficit for eggs in the market, why is everyone not doing that, right? It raises a very clear question. There's a huge deficit, 56%. That means anyone going into the business is virtually guaranteed to make a sale, not make a profit. First and foremost, let's get that clear. You're guaranteed to make a sale, not a profit. So second part, again, if there's such a huge deficit, why are people not doing it? It's very simple. Many financial organizations in Kenya today still view farming or agriculture as an informal way of earning, right? So that means that any finance options that you'd like, you are not able to get them for farming. So let's say you have a brilliant idea You want to buy a piece of land, you want to build a coop, you are targeting to keep maybe 10-20,000 birds, maybe layers, broilers, whatever. And you approach the bank with your plan, clearly cut and dry, right? You have mapped it out, everything is clear as day, and you even have identified the piece of land where you want to do your farming. Maybe it's your own land, maybe you want to buy, and you also want some financing support. You approach the bank. The fact that the banks or any financial institutions do not view farming as a formal mode of earning income means that there are no clear strategies or structures on how they will finance you. So what may end up happening is one of two things. They will maybe clearly and outright deny you any financing, or if you get any financing, you get it at a very, very high rate. So where maybe the traditional structured loan would have been your credit score, central bank based lending rate, and maybe the bank's internal risk valuation of your finances. This will not be the case. They will probably ask for some collateral. If the land is yours, maybe they will take it, right? They say, okay, we will hold on to your title deed. We will give you the financing you need for the same land, but this is our requirement. So this immediately means that many young people are not able to go to invest into any of these forms of farming, be it fish, be it egg, chicken, milk. They're not able to access the necessary resources. Okay. Then we also have to consider that there's collateral. Any financing option that you take, the bank will always want some collateral. Again, farming is a bit irregular. It is a seasonal income business. Then you're looking at weak financial records. Then you're also looking at insufficient transaction history. When you put all this together, now you realize why, despite having a 56% deficit in the eggs in circulation in the market today in Kenya, we still are not able to get enough farmers to be able to produce and meet that demand. So this is one of the key reasons I decided to go into this. And lastly, yes, it was a bit spontaneous, but I'm learning through the process, and I'll be sharing more and more details with you throughout the coming episodes. For today's episode, I'll not really drag it out too much. I'll reference an article from the Daily Nation. This was, I think, last week or the week before. Maybe that would have been May 30th. You can also check out that article. It talks more or less about the food deficit in Kenya. And this is a huge space for anyone who is looking to go into some form of farming. Thank you. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this episode helpful. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I'll be sharing more. And the subject of the next episode will be looking at now how you can start your project. I will be referencing from my existing project as of today. I will be sharing the experiences and the considerations that I went through line by line in terms of starting that particular project, and maybe you can learn from that. So hopefully in this episode you've now seen why you can do chicken farming, or why you can do fish farming, or even milk and dairy, right? You have now an understanding of what Hatcho is all about. And as the episodes grow more and more interaction, more feedback from you, we'll always be able to pivot around that and give you the information you need. Thank you. Cheers. See you on the next episode.